Everyone, thank you for joining us. My name is Brittany Sherman. I'm the CEO President for the Morgan Hill Chamber of Commerce. In honor of Earth Month, we thought it might be fun to host a webinar with some of our partner environmental organizations just to talk about basically the environment of Morgan Hill and whether that's from water to energy to waste. So I am pleased to be partnered here and joined by Recology South Valley, Julie Alter, Valley Water Director, John Varela, Silicon Valley Clean Energy, Colleen McCamey and Peyton Parks, and City of Morgan Hill, Anthony Yulo. So we'll go ahead and kick off our presentation now. We are streaming live and recording. A recording of this will be uploaded to the Chamber YouTube page later in the week. And with that, I will kick it off to Julie Alter for an update on Recology South Valley.
Thank you, Brittany. Thank you for inviting us here today. I'm going to share my screen. Okay, great. Okay, well, Recology is proud to be the service provider for recycling, organics, garbage in the city of Morgan Hill and the city of Gilroy. Today, I'm going to talk about the programs that are available to multifamily and commercial accounts and talk about what is acceptable in these programs. First, we're talking about recycling. So this is what one of our flyers looks like. So in our recycling waste stream, you can mix all of your recyclables together, whether it's food and beverage containers, or you're a restaurant, or even businesses that have people eating lunch at their office. All those things can be together in the recycling container. And so small businesses may just have a brown recycle cart, and larger ones may have the white, and some have blue dumpsters now. And you can now mix everything into these dumpsters. We call it commingled recycling. So if you actually have a brown recycle cart and a cardboard bin, please let me know and I can change that out and give you the correct information so you can now mix everything together. And one of the things about is recycling matters. So what we want you to do is make sure you're separating your recyclables and your garbage correctly. For example, if you have a box that has styrofoam inside of it, you need to remove the styrofoam, put it in the garbage, and then flatten the boxes and put it in the recycle. And then also if you have food or beverage containers, like you're maybe a pizza place and maybe you have some kind of sauce in a can, we need you to wipe or lightly rinse those cans, because otherwise that material gets on the cardboard next to it and it can get too dirty. So it's great if you would wipe, and this goes for residents also at your home, wipe or lightly rinse your containers. And something very common is people sometimes recyclables in garbage bags, and that makes it, you can't tell what is in the bag. So we'd appreciate if you, and actually the company that sorts it would appreciate if it was not in a bag, if it was loose. And as I showed, let me go back to the recycle flyer, there is a picture of a bag, so shredded paper should be in a clear bag, so obviously it stays together, otherwise it's like confetti. And then the shrink wrap or small bag should all be bagged in a clear bag, so the company can see what is actually in it. And that means, we call it, bag your bags. You do this at home also. So then that bag can be sorted and put into the right spot at the recycling center. And regarding recycling, there's been state mandates regarding recycling for years. And the more recent one that was passed was businesses that have 4 cubic yards of garbage or more need to have a recycling program. So we actually have everyone covered in Morgan Hill, but we really want to make sure everyone understands that is really important. And also apartments, multifamily accounts who have 5 units or more need to have a recycling program. So we're doing pretty good with that also, but we still, if you are a new business, this is all required, and we want to be here to help you start the free recycling program. The next is our organics collection program. This is a newer program, and the state mandates have gotten a little more strict. And in October, business accounts received a letter that told them 2 cubic yards, if you have at least 2 cubic yards of total waste, so garbage recycling mixed together, you receive this letter. And the law requires that you subscribe to an organics collection program. As you can see on this flyer, the things that would go in this program. This applies, so we have different restaurants that have this program and grocery stores, but also even a small business. They have coffee, you have napkins, paper towels from the bathroom. All those things can go in this green organics container. So the smaller businesses will probably just need the green cart like you have at home, similar to that. Or a larger generator would have a dumpster. So the picture of the green dumpster at the bottom of that flyer. And we have many of these accounts started already. And again, it would also, so if you maybe you don't have your own landscaper, that would, that material would go in there. It cannot go in the garbage. All these things. You have a greasy pizza box, you have a pizza party once a week or even multiple times. That material can go into this green organics container. And this is really important because, again, there's a state law, state mandate is requiring this, and it helps prevent methane gases from being generated at the landfill. So that is one of the goals, and there's some of it is Assembly Bill 1826. But this is really important, and this is something I'm very busy with, contacting many businesses about this program. And here's a slide showing an example of some of the businesses that actually already have the program. So there's a picture of a Madrone Village Shopping Center. They've actually had it for years, and they're doing better and better on getting the material from the different businesses there into that green container and out of the garbage. And and more recycling. We have more recycle containers because they realize how much recyclables, are generated, and they want to make sure they keep it out of the garbage. And then there's a picture of City Hills Manor, which is a more of a newer company that has this program. And there's a picture there, and they have a really large recycle bin. And we removed their old recycle carts. So now it's all in one. It's much nicer, cleaner, all organized. And then they have the green dumpster, which is helping them with all those materials that I've already spoken about. And so if you have received the letter, like I said, and haven't called me or emailed me, please do so. We really want to get large number of businesses, clients on these issues. Like I said, the composting is really important. Just became more strict. We want to get all those businesses on board. And here's my contact information. And I spoke faster than I thought I would. So thank you very much. And I believe there will be at the end, and they'll be addressed to each one of us. But here's my contact information if anyone would like to contact me. Thank you.
Great. Thank you so much, Julie. We really appreciate the update. Now I'm going to go ahead and turn it over to Director John Varela for an update from Valley Water. Oh, John, you're muted. I'm so sorry.
Sorry about that. Thank you, Brittany. As a representative of South County on the Valley Water Board of Directors, I appreciate this opportunity to be here with you this morning to talk about Valley Water in recognition of Earth Month. And today I would like to update you on Valley Water's Anderson Dam seismic retrofit, the Upper Yagas Flood Protection Project, our Pachaco Reservoir Expansion Project, and close with the Water Conservation Program. So with that, let's begin. I will start by providing a quick overview of Anderson Dam. As you can recall, last year Valley Water was ordered by the Federal Energy Regulatory Commission, also known as FERC, to drain Anderson while we rebuild it. Since then, Valley Water has lowered the water levels in Anderson Reservoir to 3% capacity in compliance with FERC's order on relocated steelhead and other species from Coyote Creek. Valley Water has now proceeded with authorization from the board to advertise for bids to construct the Anderson Dam Tunnel Project, with construction expected to begin next month. In conjunction with the existing outlet, this new tunnel will increase our ability to release water during an emergency by fivefold. We're also currently working on passage of Assembly Bill 271, authored by Assemblymember Robert Rivas, that will enable us to use a best value process rather than a straight low bid process to make sure that we have expert and timely construction of the overall Anderson Dam seismic retrofit project. I'm also proud to support that we have received AB 271 support and are looking forward to its passage and look for continued support on these measures from the Morgan Hill Chamber of Commerce. So we'll go to our next slide. We're going to talk about the Upper Yagas Creek. Another important project to the region is the Upper Yagas Creek project. This project will produce flood protection to over 1,100 homes, 500 businesses, and 1,300 agricultural acres while improving stream habitat in South County. This project is partially funded by the existing Safe Clean Water program, which helps Valley Water provide flood protection to homes, schools, businesses across the county. Phase 1 construction has begun, and we are nearly 1 year ahead of schedule. This construction includes Yagas Creek from Buena Vista Avenue to Highway 101, and a portion of the creek from Monterey Road to Watsonville Road, including the Lake Silvera wetlands creation. Some of the construction activities that began in October and will continue through the end of the month include continued excavation, creation of the wetlands at Lake Silvera, as well as the planting of thousands of native plants later this year, and installing maintenance, roads, as well as permanent fencing. Valley Water is funding the first phase of Part 2, which includes construction of an underground tunnel beneath Nob Hill between West Main Avenue and East Dunn Avenue within the downtown area of the city of Morgan Hill. We're working to secure federal funding for the remaining portion of the project in 2021 and are committed to seeing this project through. It has been a long time in coming. As you know, Measure S, which voters overwhelmingly approved last November, is funding a good chunk of this project in the tune of $46 million. And I thank the Chamber again for its support of that crucial measure. Valley Water will continue to collaborate with Morgan Hill as they craft plans to develop the site for open space and recreational uses once phase 1 of the flood protection project is completed next year. The work is an example of Valley Water's commitment to restore wildlife habitat and provide open space for the public. Let's move on from there to Pachaco Expansion Project. Another one of our projects in South County is the Pachaco Reservoir Expansion Project, which is a collaboration between Valley Water, the Pachaco Pass Water District, and the San Benito County Water District. For those who you may not know, the Pachaco Reservoir is located 60 miles southeast of San Jose and sits just north of Highway 152. The project would increase the reservoir's capacity from its current state of 5,500 acre feet to up to 140,000 acre feet, enough water to supply up to 1.4 million residents for 1 year. In February 2021, Valley Water held 2 virtual public scoping meetings and detailed 5 dam alternatives being evaluated for the Pachaco Reservoir Expansion Project as part of the California Environmental Quality Act process. We are conducting studies, investigations, and surveys to design and evaluate potential environmental impacts and feasibility. The draft environmental impact report is expected to be released by 2022. Recently, the board of directors provided staff with direction to continue to explore bringing on additional project partners to ensure that we continue to have a multiple benefit project for our community. Just a quick note about costs. In 2020, Valley Water performed a more detailed design study, which included an updated cost estimate. The design study included that construction costs for the proposed project had an increase from 1.3 billion to 2.5 billion, prompted largely by major changes in the dam and spillway design. So I won't go into all the details as to why, but just to give you an overview of the cost. So we'll move on from there to our last item, which is water conservation. Now let's shift gears and talk about the elephant in the room, the drought. We are officially in a drought. which means it's time for all of us to do our part to conserve water. And we are here to help you do just that, while also saving you money. During the last drought, Valley Water implemented a voluntary call for a 20% reduction in water use compared to 2013, and we continue that policy today. Flash, an update, as of last night's Board of Directors meeting, we have decided to up our conservation levels from a 20% to 25%. Now, again, this is voluntary, not mandatory. But I do want you to know that South County, specifically Morgan Hill, has usually maintained anywhere from 26 to 28% volunteer levels. So congratulations, Morgan Hill. Our community has responded well and is meeting the goals as of today. So conservation is important? Yes. Well, for you, it saves money. The average family upgrading all their toilets to a 1.3 gallon per flush or less models can save 13,000 gallons of water and save over $130 in water costs per year. But there are a lot of other reasons as well. Increased long-term water supply, assists meeting short-term demands, reduces urban runoff. A large source of fertilizer and nutrients in our storm drains is from runoff pollution from overwatering. Finally, distribution and treatment of water is one of the top energy users in California. The EPA estimates that just 1 out of every 100 American homes were retrofitted with water-efficient fixtures. About 100 million kilowatt hours of electricity per year would be saved. This is equal to eliminating 8 million gallons of gasoline consumption. That means if 1% of American homes save water, this can have the same impact of replacing millions of gas-powered vehicles. So let's talk about how we can help you save both water and money. Valley Water offers many conservation programs that can help businesses save both, such as large landscape survey programs for business and schools and water efficient technology, rebate programs from businesses and schools, and sub-meter rebate program for multifamily properties, among other programs. We also offer various other resources that may benefit businesses in Morgan Hill, including water conservation tips, free pre-rinse sprayers for restaurants, and another free services and tools. And finally, these programs aim to help businesses with their water management strategies. To learn more, please visit our website at watersavings.org to reach out to me directly, and I can help you connect with your staff to see how we can help you. I want to thank you, Brittany, for putting this together and for allowing me to share these updates and rebate programs with you. And finally, I also want to acknowledge you, the members of your advocacy on behalf of the business community. I am proud to represent you on Valley Water Board of Directors. And as always, if you have any questions, feel free to contact me directly. Thank you all.
Thank you, Director Varela, for that very comprehensive overview of the elephant in the room. I love that. I'll cross that off as one of my questions for later on.
Good.
It's on the tip of everybody's tongue, right? What water is going to do or not do this year. So thank you for that.
You're welcome.
Now I'm going to kick it over to Silicon Valley Clean Energy, Colleen McCamey and Peyton Parks.
Great. I will share the screen here and wanted to first say thank you to the Chamber for having us present today. Okay, so we are switching gears a little bit and talking about your electricity that powers Morgan Hill. So starting off, we're going to talk about here what Silicon Valley is. And so Silicon Valley Clean Energy is a community choice energy agency that serves clean electricity to residents and businesses within the area. And so as you can see on the map here, there are many different community choice energy agencies serving different areas throughout the state. Currently, there are 24 serving about 11 million Californians. And this was set up, this kind of agency structure was set up through Assembly Bill 117 so that local governments and communities can come together to source their electricity and have a say of where their power is coming from. And zooming in to Silicon Valley Clean Energy, the community choice energy agency for 13 communities in Santa Clara County. You can see here Morgan Hill is on that list. And so SVCE, or Silicon Valley Clean Energy, provides Morgan Hill with clean electricity and innovative programs to really help customers save money, add comfort into their life, and fight climate change locally, which will in return help improve air quality and create a cleaner Silicon Valley. And so how does this work? For your electricity utility, there's always been two different sides. There's been the source or the generation, and then the delivery. Previously, PG&E did both the source and the delivery, but now with Silicon Valley Clean Energy, SVCE is sourcing clean electricity from wind, water, and hydropower and other carbon-free sources, as well as building new renewable energies to be added onto the grid. And then PG&E is still delivering that clean electricity on their existing infrastructure, so their lines and poles, to the customer. So the customer benefits from that cleaner electricity with local control, as SVCE is governed by a board of directors comprised of local elected officials. And with that, I'm going to pass it on over to Peyton Parks to talk about some different clean energy options.
Sounds great. Thanks, Colleen. So if you jump to the next slide, you'll see that SVCE wasn't content to offer just one flavor of carbon saving electricity. We actually have two for our residents and businesses. So our first and standard offering is Green Start, and this is comprised of sources like wind, solar, and hydropower. This is competitive with PG&E in terms of pricing, and we're currently offering a 1% discount versus what PG&E's generation rates would have been. For those businesses who are looking to go 100% renewable, we also offer Green Prime. This is a product that's been 100% wind and solar power since the start of SVCE. There's a small surcharge on this of 0.8 of a penny per kilowatt hour. So what that translates to is just a few dollars a month for most small businesses who would like to switch, and even less than that for residents. Now there is sort of a change coming to, excuse me, change coming to the landscape in terms of how residential energy customers are going to be billed. Starting in June of 2021, the majority of customers who are on what we call a tiered electricity rate, meaning that they have a flat rate for the first chunk of energy that they consume, a higher rate for the next chunk, and an even higher rate if they're considered to be a high user, will be transitioned to a time of use rate, where you're billing, the price is determined by the time of day that it is. So as you can see in the example below, customers will see a higher price per kilowatt hour between the hours of 4 p.m. and 9 p.m. and a lower price on off-peak price from 9 p.m. Until 4 p.m., so all other hours of the day. Now, as this transition occurs, customers are going to receive communications from PG&E alerting them to the switch 90 days and 30 days out. Customers absolutely have the option to remain on a tiered rate if they would like to, but they will have to take action and call PG&E or notify them via their online PG&E account if they wish to remain on their current rate. For those who do switch, SVCE and PG&E together are offering bill protection, meaning that if a customer pays more over a 12-month period on the new time of use rate than they would have paid on their tiered rate, the difference in what they overpaid will be offered to them as a bill credit. Now, what's exciting about time of use rates and why the landscape is sort of shifting this way is because it encourages people to use their energy at the lower price times of the day, which is when energy is typically cleaner from the grid, meaning that during that 4 p.m. to 9 p.m. period, that's when resources on the grid like gas peaker plants tend to come online, because the solar power that we have a tremendous glut of during the sunny parts of the day is starting to wane. And so if you change your habits a little bit to start running electric appliances during the off-peak periods versus the high demand 4 to 9 period, there are definitely savings opportunities for customers. Now, as an agency, we've had some lofty goals, and I think that this slide shows that we've been doing a pretty good job to help hit those goals. So far, since our inception in 2017, we've seen a 24% reduction in overall emissions for our territory compared to a 2015 baseline. And that's strictly just from changing the sources from the supply of electricity. Now, we also have priced our power competitively. So territory-wide, we've saved about $69 million for our customers in on-bill savings. So this is money that's going directly back into the pockets of our customers and hopefully helping to stimulate local economy. We also have done a lot to reinvest in clean energy technologies of our own. Specifically, we've contracted for $1.4 billion in various utility scale projects, which include solar plus battery storage, geothermal, and wind.
Cool, and now I will take it over to start off talking about some customer offers and services that are available to customers for their homes and also businesses. And so starting off here is one of my favorites is Ehub. And so we've recently launched an online resources and tools to help take the guesswork out of switching to all electric at home and on the road and in businesses. And so you can kind of see here, this is what we call our Future Fit Home, which really emphasizes and includes clean electric technologies that help customers take advantage of the electricity that's already going through their wires to the homes and businesses that is clean. So by switching from natural gas appliances and cars powered by gas to clean electric appliances and cars powered by electricity, there's a huge impact that customers can make by reducing emissions and helping with air quality. And so within Ehub, there's a lot of different tools. One we have is an EV assistant to help customers really get a grasp of all the different electric vehicles that are available, see how you can save with emissions and also save money with an EV compared to a gas-powered vehicle, and discover incentives. On the appliances assistant, you can shop for clean electric products and see their efficiency scores, as well as there's currently $50 off induction cooktops, which is a better way to cook as it's quicker, cleaner, and easier to clean up after cooking even. And so to test it out, you can get $50 off, as well as there's a solar and battery assistant, which helps customers get non-obligation offers for solar and battery storage projects for their home, and to learn more on that. And with this, I'm going to pass over one of the fan favorite programs to Peyton Parks.
So just like Ehub is one of Colleen's favorite projects because she's been very involved with it, I've been very involved in making sure that we're helping to deploy heat pump water heaters to customers. So the reason why this is important is because a gas-powered water heater is actually the most polluting gas-powered appliance in the home. And the reason is because it runs nearly constantly and uses a lot of gas, thus has a lot of emissions. So in the past, there have been electric water heaters available, but they use resistance coils that tend to use about 4 times more energy equivalent than a gas water heater did. So they weren't very inexpensive to run. A heat pump, by contrast, is 3 times more efficient than a gas-powered water heater. And when coupled with time of use rates and programmed to run in those off-peak hours, can actually help to save customers money on their utility bills. So what we offer is up to $3,500 to replace a gas water heater with an efficient electric heat pump water heater. We do have incentives that are additional on this program for those who are low income or CARE and FARA program qualified. And we have additional incentives still for those who may want to upgrade their main electric service panel in order to accommodate the new electric circuit you might need for a water heater. So all in all, a lot of really good savings with this program. And you can learn more or apply for the rebate at our website, svcleanenergy.org/water-heating. And back to you, Colleen.
Great, thank you. And this next program here is designed for small and medium commercial businesses and buildings, as well as multifamily properties. And this is for technical support for property owners and business owners to get an understanding of what would be included if they were to put additional or new EV charging at the site. And so it is free technical assistance that would include a various different aspects of the project, such as on-site evaluation, planning, bid selection, and assistance with any incentive applications or for any utility upgrades needed in building permits. And to learn more about this program and to apply to be involved in this and get free technical assistance, feel free to look at the webpage listed below. And last but not least here, we have our Lights on Silicon Valley program. And this is to help customers install solar and battery systems through partnered with Sunrun, a local and large scale utility or solar provider. And so with the Lights on SV program, customers can receive a rebate for $1,250 for installing a system and then enrolling the battery with larger projects to help the grid electricity at certain times. And also to learn more about this program, please visit the website below. But to learn more in general about SVCE and any additional programs that we have, visit our website or feel free to reach out to us at any of the contact methods listed here. And I will stop the share and hand it back over to you, Brittany.
All right, thank you very much. Appreciate it. Lots of really good tips and savings in there. All right, and last but not least, I will turn it over to my good friend, Anthony Yulo from the City of Morgan Hill.
Thanks so much, Brittany, and thanks to the presenters that we heard from already. I think everyone can agree that we have a great group of partners working on green issues for the community. And I'm not sure that people know or that it was said loud enough, but last year alone, because we have SVCE customers, and that's both residential and business customers in Morgan Hill, paid nearly $1 million less for electricity in Morgan Hill alone last year. So that's a huge benefit to our community in terms of opportunities for reinvestment and just more money that people have that they can spend at our local stores and restaurants, if nothing else. I asked to go last because I get the pleasure of working in a number of different issue areas, and I wanted to be able to back clean up, if you will, and kind of fill in what may have been missing between the different presentations. And so I'm going to go in the order I heard him, and then I'll add some stuff at the end. So in terms of waste and recycling, Julie did, of course, a great job talking about what businesses can and should be doing now. But the news that I want to share is that due to state regulations, we are going to have to adopt a local ordinance requiring businesses to participate in organics waste diversion programs and recycling programs. We'll be doing that this year. We have to have a mandatory ordinance in place by January. We will be asking, and I've already talked to Brittany about this, so she's nodding because she knows about it. We will be creating a forum for chamber members to have input into it, but unfortunately, it's not one of those, well, we shouldn't do this kind of things. It's like we have to do it, and unfortunately, it's going to be fairly prescriptive. But if we don't, we will be fined, and therefore all the taxpayers in the community will have to be paying those fines indirectly. So that's coming this year. We are also at this moment in the midst of presenting 2 other ordinances to the City Council of minor interest to businesses. One is addressing the inspection of private sewer laterals and private sewer infrastructure. And from the business angle, there are some businesses that have private sewer collection systems. In other words, if you have a campus and you have private lines connecting sewage from the different buildings before they connect to the public sewer, there will be some inspection requirements placed upon you. The second ordinance will be requiring older homes to be retrofit with new water efficient appliance fixtures before they are sold. And there will be an enforcement mechanism built into those ordinances. So that's just kind of coming up on the regulatory front from the community. I just then wanted to kind of shift to climate action. And everything that has been talked about today contributes to climate action in one form or another. And there's a lot of people that have asked us if we have a climate action plan, and if not, why not? And the fact is, we do not have a climate action plan. I've never adopted a formal one. The reason being is it's a small jurisdiction with limited resources. We've been focusing more on climate action as opposed to climate action planning. When you have a plan, it takes resources to both develop the plan as well as to monitor performance every year. We would rather just focus on reducing emissions. So the major thing that we've done, as most people know, is require all new development to be electrified. So if you're building a new home in Morgan Hill, it's going to be all electric. If you're building a new business, your heating for the building and your water heating is going to be electric. So there's no more gas heating going on in Morgan Hill. If you're building a building that's going to have an industrial process that requires natural gas, we can talk about that. You can bring natural gas to your building because we understand some industrial processes are not yet ready to be electrified, but that would be the direction we're going in. When we look at our emissions as a community, it's sort of like you can have several different pools of them. One pool would have been building energy. And what we've done with SPCE is all the emissions associated with electricity for those buildings have been offset and have gone away, basically. SPCE is a carbon-free power resource. So that roughly 25% of our community's emissions are now gone due to us joining up with SPCE. Another 25% would be from existing buildings and their use of natural gas. Most of us have a home that is heated using natural gas, and our water heating is natural gas. And most of us have natural gas cooking. So getting existing homes off of natural gas is another big chunk that we have to look forward to as a community. That was not easy to do, but something that we're grappling with. Peyton talked about that a little bit with the water heater retrofit program, but it's not an easy nut to crack. There's a whole other approximately 50% of our emissions associated with transportation. Many of us are still driving cars that have internal combustion engines. We are the proud owner of 2 electric vehicles in my home, and I'll have to say, once you go there, they're pretty sweet. It's a pretty good ride. But that is the area that we will be continuing to push, and technology is obviously evolving, infrastructure is evolving. Our friends at SVC are supporting the installation of charging infrastructure in the community, but it takes 2 to tango. And so business owners interested in installing EV chargers should be looking to SVCE for what kind of assistance and guidance SVCE can offer. It's not always easy, but it is the direction we need to go in. And lastly, I want to say on a personal level, if you don't yet have an EV, it's really time to think about it with your next vehicle purchase. It is, for most of us, the single most polluting thing that we do on a day-to-day basis is drive a car with an internal combustion engine. And it's time to really get off those fossil fuels and transition to having an electric vehicle. And with that, Brittany, I'll stop there. I know a bunch about other aspects of environmental protection, and if there's folks out there that want to ask questions about that, I'd be happy to entertain those.
Thank you. Thank you, Tony. All right. I do have a couple questions. The first one I'm going to throw out to the group as a whole, and you can just answer as you want to chime in. In your respective industries, what do you see as the future of your industry?
Fluid.
Blue, is that what you said?
It's fluid.
Oh, fluid. Julie, anything? The future.
I'll answer for Julie. I'm pushing her all the time to get more businesses to sign up for organic waste diversion. It's her 150% of her time is focused on that.
After what I've said, so at Valley Water currently, we're looking at sustainable water for our future. And what we're looking more into, and we're going to be talking to South County, which would be Morgan Hill and Gilroy, is recycling and water purification. This is what we look at as being safeguarding against droughts in the future, et cetera. And it's pretty much an exhaustible water supply. So water recycling, we know we have our facility that we built in San Jose. We're partnering currently with the cities of Mountain View, Palo Alto, and Sunnyvale to do the same. And we're going to be continuing exploratory conversations with Morgan Hill and Gilroy on this issue. So stay tuned. Recycling water is coming your way.
Very good. All right.
I'll go ahead and jump in for SVCE. So we know what the future of our industry looks like because it's been mandated. So the electrical grid is supposed to get down to zero emissions by 2045. It's just a question of what the path forward to get there looks like. So in the near term, what we can expect is probably a much heavier adoption of utility scale storage products. I think that those are going to play a huge part in the future. But I think the other side of the industry that isn't necessarily solar panels and cables and wires is really the customer adoption. And so to get people, like Tony said, switching over to electric vehicles, switching over to gas-free cooking, switching over to electric appliances, is really about awareness, and it's going to also be about economics. So making sure that we're doing our part at SVCE to educate the public to adopt these clean technologies that ultimately make life better, but also making sure that they know that they're not going to be sacrificing anything to switch over to electric, and that in fact, a lot of the times it's a better experience to have electric in your home or for your vehicle. And so on the utility side, I think that there's work to be done, but I think that there's even more work to be done on the people side of things.
Peyton, can I riff on that for a moment? Because
absolutely,
it was mentioned that I think SVCE has an induction cooktop rebate, and if you guys haven't used an induction cooktop, I'll tell you, I use mine as often as I can. I have a gas stove like most of us, but when I have all my cookware is now converted. It has to have a cast iron element to work on an induction cooktop. If you haven't used one, you got to use SVC's money, buy one from Amazon, or I'm sorry, Brittany, if you can tell me a local place to buy one, that's fine. It's the best thing. It's nothing like cooking on an electric cooktop. There's nothing in common. It's much more like using gas, but better. Your pot, I mean, you can cook pasta water. I'm sorry for being so exuberant about this, but you can cook pasta water and you can pick up the pan and dump the water out. The pan doesn't even, the pan doesn't get that hot. It's while the water's boiling. It's just amazing. And for using it in the summer when you don't want a lot of waste heat going in your kitchen, it's an awesome thing. So I have one that I bought at my own dime. I'm going to buy another one so that I can have two going at the same time, because it's an awesome thing.
So I've got to put a plug in as well. So as a South County resident, if you can get an induction cooktop locally here, do by all means. But please also check out SVCE's Ehub Appliance Assistant, which offers rebates and coupons right off the top of the cost, and could be a very easy way to get it shipped right to your door.
And in terms of our future, I'm going to say two things. One is we're continually being regulated by the state. So we are getting more and more regulations on the city as the owner of the stormwater system, for example. So by 2030, we have to have devices in all of our stormwater, covering all of our stormwater to keep trash out. So you've probably seen them in other communities, like structures and the inlets. So there's that. As we've talked about, the state is forcing us to do more on the area of organics. The state is forcing us to do more with a lot of new businesses in terms of the on-site stormwater treatment there. But most acutely, last night, Valley Water raised their rebates to $2 a square foot for landscape rebates. And we matched that with $1. So I could see that in the coming year, there's going to be a whole lot of the landscapes in Morgan Hill retrofit. And it's going to be a great thing. And businesses should do that because we do match. And I think my friend Karen from the Water District wants to add in.
Yes, I just wanted to say that increased rebate amount doesn't start until July 1st. So understand that starts on July 1st. And Valley Water has a lot of other resources for businesses. We just started an online shopping cart where residents and businesses can go any time of day and order tools and equipment for free to help them save water at home and in their business. So that's available all the time on our website at valleywater.org, or you can get there more directly at watersavings.org. Thank you.
Thanks, Karen.
Thank you, Karen. Thank you, everyone. I just kind of want to leave on a last note. Again, in your respective areas, what do you think is the most important part that people can play in preserving not only Morgan Hill's environment, but the earth as a whole?
Electrify.
Well,
Go ahead, John.
To be environmental, I mean, it's the way of the world today. And we set examples here throughout Silicon Valley and bring it home to Morgan Hill. Conservation, as we spoke about earlier, for water and all the efficiencies that were being presented today from SVC. So I think, it takes a village to make these things happen. So the more people that expand conservation levels and limiting energy consumption, EV, autos, etc., will make a different world and a more positive place to live. Thank you.
Yeah, and I can add on to that and say that the electricity coming into your wires is carbon-free from SVC. So really take advantage of this carbon-free electricity by electrifying. So switching out when it's time to replace your water heater, switching it for a clean electric heat pump water heater, like we mentioned, your EV. So really kind of taking advantage of the clean electricity already powering Morgan Hill and really hope to improve our air quality by electrifying. And yeah, I think that's a major thing people could do.
I would say always remember the 3 R's: reduce, reuse, and recycle. And recycling would include compost, as Tony was talking about, because you're actually recycling your food scraps or other compostables into a new product, which is compost, usable in a garden or so. And I just think it's really important. A lot of people, I don't know if they're at home, if they are diverting their coffee grounds or their paper towels that they use to wipe up food soil things, or they have a uncoated paper plates and they use for pizza, that can go in your green cart and it turns into compost. So I think those are really important. All of us can work on that.
All right, wonderful. Well, from the bottom of my heart, thank you everybody for taking the time to speak with us today. Again, Recology South Valley, Julie, Valley Water Director Varela, Silicon Valley Clean Energy, Colleen and Peyton, in the city of Morgan Hill, Tony Yulo. Thank you for spending the time with us today, and we look forward to all being more environmentally conscious in the future. Thank you, everyone. Have a great day.
Thank you.
Bye-bye, everyone.
Bye, everybody.